Scene one. Hi Christian, how you been? Christian, have you seen those new TVs that are coming out? I heard that you can see people on the TV set and hear them talking to TV. What is that god awful music? Elvis, who's he? What type of music does he play? That is satanic music.
Hey Brian, how are you? I did hear about the TV sets. They look really nice. I hope when they come out, people will be able to afford them and buy them soon. Well, people in the TV they tend to like have some few commercials, but there's also music. And as you were talking about Elvis, he might be good. Well, I think I have to be a little bit against TV sets because people talk like they say like there could be bad things for little kids. And wait, do you hear that? I think my daughter's playing Elvis. Let's go check. Like,
What he's playing? She's playing Elvis. I heard that rock and roll is satanic music, and it makes teens thinking about sex and drugs, and I think you should punish your daughter. Rock and roll barely started around. It barely started once especially with TV sets. Now kids are going to be able to hear rock and roll and see concerts on live. And I think that's one bad thing about TV sets, and I don't think you should buy one, even though it will be cool, since you should only have it for family time, which is the best time, so that the family could be together, and you guys could watch TV, and but also that's it.
oh yeah, dude, it's crazy. Like right now, I just heard my daughter here, like Elvis right now. That's really crazy because people are now seeing things on TV, and now started off from rock and roll, and now transitioned all the way back to like TV, and people right now they're hearing things like all satanic music, and how like this world shouldn't even be listening to that type of music because it could like change our minds the way we see things because TVs are now going to start getting popular and people shouldn't even be watching TV yet because right now people don't know what type of things they could be watching like rock and roll. Like rock and roll is not even that type of a hit because it's like Satan music. And my daughter right now, I heard her talk about seeing her song about Elvis, and I think that's not right because Elvis is not even that big.
Yeah, now that teens are starting to hear Elvis, they're starting to think and be curious about sex and drugs, and I think that's bad. Now that the 1950s, you went from the transition from kids now hearing rock and roll, which could lead them to worse influence, such as James Dean, where teenagers are getting a sexual desire for actors and men, and they're changing their lifestyle. It used to be where women wouldn't hear music that talked about drugs or about sex, and see sex idols like James Dean, such a sex symbol. And now that Elvis, with him as well being a sex symbol, teenagers are starting to change. Now generations are changing, especially in the 1950s, and with people like James Dean and Elvis Presley, as well as other artists and actors, such as Marilyn Monroe, who has become a big sex symbol in the 1950s. With her popular movies and the rumor that she's going out with the president, John F. Kennedy. It's influenced bad, American culture and the females, teenagers as well. Stop. Hey Christian, did you hear about the Brown versus education? Well, Brown won the case. Yes, she's now going to a white school. Yeah, it's amazing. I didn't believe it at first. No, I don't think so. Yes, with Rosa Parks and the bus boycott. I think it's a big thing now that people probably think after the case that everything's going back to normal, but actually because of that case, since Brown won that case, the little girl has to now go to a school with white people, when it used to be segregation, and now she's gonna have to live through all that. They're gonna harass her. They're gonna be racist to her, and she probably doesn't even want to go to the school, but she has to because it's closest, and she won the case. So what other option she has? She has to go to to be a an example or an idol for a model for black people, and hopefully this will encourage and make black people happy that one day segregation will be over.
Nah, I was very busy, and I'm glad that she did one because black people shouldn't also be allowed to do things like black people should also do things white people could do, and I think segregation should end soon because that's racist, and this world wasn't made for racism. This world was for everybody to do things their own way. This is the land of the free, not the land of the slaves. Also, I think that this bus boycott thing is a really good thing because with what Rosa Parks did and how she inspired black people to do something that she wasn't supposed to do. And I think that the MLK was very successful on the boycott because people are now seeing different things and the way they see things are better now. And even though Rosa Parks did influence a lot of people, she brought power to black people because many white people felt superior, and now since segregation is finally like getting out of schools, for example, black people will now be able to do things white people can do because to me black people look like they were slaves when they really weren't.
Yes, you're right, but we have bigger things to worry about, like communism spreading. Do you think we will win? Joseph McCarthy is accusing a lot of people of being communists. The people he blames do not even have a fighting chance. They're stripped from the Bill of Rights, and I think that the blacklist, the blacklist 10 of the Hollywood 10, it was unfair to them. McCarthy just blaming them just because they didn't want to give up their sources. Communism is also a big issue now that the Red Scare is happening, and a lot of Americans have become frightened that communism will spread to America and that it will take over. But I think democracy will win, and as well capitalism. And I think with the Iron Curtain, it's shutting down. It's stopping from communism from spreading. That this will help. And now that the Cold War, the Americans are trying to send spies to America to Russia, so that they could find information to see if they could win that war. It's a very sneaky, it's a quiet war because now there's not a lot of warfare going on. There's not machines and tanks and stuff going and fighting against each other like World War I and World War II. Russia as well, they have spies, and they've because of the couple that were Russian spies, they gave him information about the nuclear bombs, of how to build it and everything. They gave it to Russia, and now the United States is not the only country with that mass destruction or power that could wipe out a country, and so there could be a nuclear war if things are not handled right with the Cold War. Hi, Christian. Did you hear about Levittown and how they're making houses that are there's only like three types. They're cheap price and they're all the same. They have different one. Each house are different, but there's only three types, so that soldiers that are back from World War I or World War II, and with the GI Bill, they'll be able to afford those houses and raise a family. And since after World War II, there's been a thing called baby boom, where there's a bunch of babies being born. There's a lot of babies just being born, and for a few years there's a lot of babies being born because the soldiers that are back from war, they're ready to make families. They want to have kids, and so now they've had a bunch of kids, and I think that's good. With the soldiers receiving the GI Bill, that'll help them so they could pay for school, and they could use the money to get a house and be able to afford one and pay for it, as well to form a family. Levittown it's a good example for other cities that should be made. It's an example to make other cities Well, you should have the same type of structure where there's three types of different houses, and each one they're all different, but they're all affordable, and they're all made to be affordable to a regular to a regular American, as well as a soldier that came back from war and is probably suffering from trauma. Um, Also about the Korean War, how the U.S. is helping Americans. The Americans are going and help. The Americans are helping South Korea, trying to fight away North Korea, where communism is spreading. They don't want that to happen because they know that soon North Korea or communists will start invading America, and they won't have anyone to help. And since the Marshall Plan helps with trying to help people that are starting to build up and don't want them to become communists, then now China, they're suffering that China is helping the North Koreans, and that's bad because if that does happen, then South Korea will eventually turn, or Korea as a whole will turn communist, and the Americans don't want that, as well as I don't as an American.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy how people are now like having babies, and now this baby boom's getting crazy because this baby could overpopulate the entire world in the U.S. And about this Leamington thing, I think that's pretty crazy because people should just do anything that they want. And since there's this baby boom, people probably might lose their jobs because since maybe babies are being born, they probably won't they probably won't have time to be in their job, but they could have to help their wives take care of the babies. And this world is being like overpopulated from t- uh, t- um, tourists and stuff, and